Hi YouTube, it's Yashi here. A couple of weeks ago I showed you a platform that I've been using for the past couple of years called Fundrise, and I showed you how it helped me getting into real estate before I had enough money to actually buy real estate in person. Today I'm gonna tell you how much money it made to me in the past 3 years and why you should always have a long-term mentality, especially when it comes to real estate. So let's log on to the app. As you can see here, my portfolio is at $32,000. Some of it, actually most of it, is what I put in with my own saved money. Some of it is the returns I made throughout the past 3 years. It is a pretty good amount. It's not gigantic as some other accounts I saw, but it's at a pretty good point compared to where I started. I started with 5K, by the way. If we look here at the map, I own partial shares, 235 properties. And the cool thing you can see here from the map is that they're well distributed. They're distributed across most of America, most of North America, except for some isolated areas like up here, which is good news for me because it means that I'm very well diversified. Another cool thing is if you look at the details of the properties that I own, it's a mix between commercial and residential properties, which I really like. Now let's switch to the important stuff. How much money did I make in the past 3 years? So we're gonna go to overview. I don't want to go too much into the details. As you can see here in October 11, so literally 3 years ago, I started with $4,993. And in the beginning, I was putting around $400 every month. Once my salary increased, I started putting double that, so $800 a month. And here you see me ramping up slower up to a point where I start putting more and more and more, and now I'm at 32,000. So at the beginning of the video I told you to have a long-term mentality, especially when it comes to stuff like this. And this is the perfect example of why you should. As you can see in the beginning, it wasn't ramping up as fast. Of course, I was putting in less money, but also my returns were lower. If you look at my returns from 2021 compared to my all-time returns, you will notice that most of my all-time returns come from 2021. Now keep in mind, 2021 was an interesting year for the real estate market. Everything went up by a lot. But the second reason why my returns are mostly from 2021 is when you invest your money into Fundrise, it's not like they're investing everything immediately. Your money is ramping up into investments, and so it's invested little by little across different units, across different apartment units and commercial units. Once more and more of that money is being invested, your returns will start yielding more and more, and that's exactly what happened this year for me. Since I've been here now for 3 years, most of the money that I've been investing has been invested, and more of that money has been making me more and more return. That's why this year, just in appreciation, I made $3,338. Consider that I still have Q4 left. This is just in 3 quarters, which is basically 10% in 3 quarters. That's higher than the stock market. On top of that, I also had $700 of dividends. Now the cool thing is you can choose different accounts here. You can choose mostly dividends, a balance between dividends and appreciation, or mostly appreciation. Mostly appreciation will yield to more returns, but more for a long term. More dividends will give you shorter returns. So constant dividends, it will come in immediately, but it will not make as much money. So here I did something balanced, and it's starting to pay off dividends. Now, if you consider my all-time return, on the other hand, because my first 2 years were not as strong as 2021, my total return, which is around $5,000, is a little less than 20% across 3 years, which is not awesome, but it's also not awful, considering that I'm not moving a finger. I'm investing in real estate, which is very capital intensive, and when you're young, you don't have that amount of capital. So I'm pretty happy with it. I don't have to call tenants, I don't have to fix properties, they're doing everything for me, and I made 20%, which is pretty decent to me. Of course, there are other investments, you know, on this YouTube channel that I have other platforms that make much more than that, but also much more riskier than that. So with that said, do I like the platform? Yes. Would I recommend it to friends? Probably. I love it. I love this platform. It's a good way to start understanding how real estate works. It's a good way to start getting into real estate when you don't have the money and you're young. And if you just automate it and forget about it, you end up with 5 figures in a matter of a couple of years. It's pretty fun. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Big plus to me. Let me know what you think. Let me know if the returns are good for you. Let me know if you've been looking into this. And if you have questions, leave a comment and I'll respond to you as soon as possible. If you like what I'm doing, please subscribe. Thank you. Ciao.